Okay, perfect. So welcome everybody to today's Commodities Corner presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. So today, of course, during the live session, we will be going through live market analysis. We'll go through a watch list of trade ideas, a forecast of where we expect gold, silver, crude oil, and the commodity currencies to be heading next. We'll be going through questions and, of course, also providing live support as well. So before we get into it, let me just introduce you to the Gold and Silver Club. The Gold and Silver Club is regarded as the go-to authority on commodities trading, as internationally respected experts. Our analysis and our opinions on the metals, the energies, the agricultural markets, they are routinely sought by major financial television channels and publications, which include Bloomberg, Reuters, CNBC, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal. And over the last 10 years, myself and my team of experts, we have trained and mentored thousands of private traders from all over the world on our exclusive research-driven strategies. For further information on our service, you can just go to www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. I would also suggest, if you are watching the recording, for example, on YouTube, make sure that you also go through and search for the Gold and Silver Club and subscribe to the Gold and Silver Club YouTube channel. That way you get kept updated with all of the latest forecasts and report. We put out a very comprehensive report over the course of the weekend as well. That's on the Gold and Silver Club YouTube channel. Okay, good. So with that, let's get into it. Lots to go through on today's session. I'll go through our favorite trade ideas right now. I'll go through the markets. It's a good time of the week, being a Monday, just to go through some of the setups and the ranges that we are looking at for the week ahead. So I'm just going to share my screen. You should be able to see that very shortly, or just bear with me. I think I've enlarged the screen. Let's just get that onto a screen share. Okay, good. So perfect. Right, you should be able to see my screen at the moment. We just bring out the Reuters. Okay, fantastic. Right, good. So, yep, great stuff. Thanks, Reese. Okay, good. So, first of all, let's just have a rundown of the biggest movers today so far. And what we're tracking is essentially we're going to be tracking gold, silver, US oil, UK oil, platinum, Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, US dollar CAD, so the commodity currencies, and also the correlations with the US dollar as well, such as the Swiss franc. So today, or earlier on in the session, we've seen some strength in the dollar. In fact, I've got the dollar index here just on the top right-hand corner of the chart. You can see it's currently broken above the 95.80 zone. We're getting a bit of support here after we saw a retest the lower end of the channel around the non-farm payroll. But since then, we've seen support come in here for the US dollar, which has put some pressure on some of the other currencies against it. So the top mover that we actually have today, and a position that we're long actually already, is the US dollar Swiss franc, which is up 0.2% on the day, and US dollar CAD has also built up some momentum here as well. The pound US dollar is flat on the day. I am looking ultimately to short into the pound over the course of this week, and as we go into February as well, which is normally a weak time of year for the pound, and also on higher time frames such as the weekly chart, I am looking for the swing lows to get broken on the pound US dollar. With respect to the New Zealand dollar and Australian dollar, we've seen them pull back today. I'm essentially looking at pullback entries to re-add to long positions. We're also seeing a pullback on gold at the moment to 13.12, and platinum and silver, although on lower time frames they are getting supported, and oil has dipped back below 54 US dollars per barrel. So overall, we're seeing US dollar strength at the moment impacting the commodities. So we're seeing some pressure to the downside, although it was more so earlier on in the session, and this dip might be treated this week as a buying opportunity for some of the major commodities out there, such as gold, silver, and also US oil as well. So that's what we want to have a look at as we go over to the chart. So we've seen, broadly speaking, the dollar has been rising here on Monday as investors have taken heart from Friday's strong payroll number, and improved risk appetite helped lifting the greenback to a 5-week high against a safe haven such as US dollar, Japanese yen. And we've seen gold pull back to around 1308 today, so 1,308 US dollars per ounce, slipping to the lowest level nearly a week on Monday as the dollar and global equities firmed off the back of the upbeat economic data from the United States. Now, of course, last week on Wednesday, we saw the US dollar sell off significantly after the Fed was a fairly dovish FOMC statement where they signaled that they're not going to be going, well, they're going to pause the rate of interest rate hikes over 2019. So that has given further support to gold last week, breaking out to 9-month highs. And we certainly saw the US dollar sell off. But at the moment, the narrative in the market is focusing more closely on the non-farm payroll data. And as a result, we've seen the dollar rally today and continue that momentum, really following on from the momentum from Friday's non-farm payrolls. So that's what we're seeing at the moment in terms of the overall narrative and the top movers right now. Now, what I would draw your attention to, first of all, is silver here. So silver, we've actually, excuse me, silver, we have executed a new position today, in fact, on the retrace that we got earlier on in the session. And we're seeing at the moment, silver's back at 1588 already on the weekly time frames here. You can see here, this is really what I've been looking for a retrace back towards the 1570 to 1560 zone. We had that earlier on in the session. Ultimately, if you look at silver on the monthly chart, it looks like we're just springboarding and we're getting ready for higher prices over the month of February, which is traditionally a very strong month for the commodities, especially the precious metals. Normally over the month of February, silver is delivering 2 to 3% to the upside, and it's flat on the month at the moment. And it looks like a pullback for a better price to potentially get in for the price to springboard higher over the month of February. So we've re-entered into silver. And again, I'd stay focused on the weekly chart at the moment, because the weekly chart has really been showing you the overall basing formation with the W shape basing formation that we had over September and also October 2018. Since then, we broke above the neckline in December, which propelled the price higher by over 100 points, or a dollar move here from under the $15 level right up towards the $16 level, which it broke out to just last week, where it broke out to 6-month highs. So we have seen overall strength come in for silver, and I would look at this pullback, in my opinion, as a buy opportunity with added to our long position. Now, going over to gold, so gold would be next to really have a look at as well. So if we move over to gold price structure, well, we've been expecting a potential dip here off the back of the US dollar strength from Friday's non-farm payroll. Gold last week broke out to 9-month highs at 1,326 US dollars per ounce. It looks like what we're seeing at the moment is essentially a level of previous resistance here, now providing support on the chart, which is at the 1308 level. So you can see here where that zone of previous resistance is now providing some support here. So I'm a buyer below essentially 1308 here on gold. I'm interested in re-adding to positions here on gold when it dips below that level. So far, we've had a fairly shallow retracement today to that level. It's already getting supported, and gold's already moved about 50 points off that level. It's back almost at $13.14, $1,314 per ounce here. So gold, we might revisit that zone again this week, depending on whether the dollar continues to break out, but certainly I would see 1308 to 1300s as from a range bound point of view as a perfect zone to look at potential evidence that the price is getting supported, and to look for potential entries at that zone, ultimately targeting a move back towards 1320 to 1330 on gold over the course of this week. That's what I would be looking out for. You can see gold right now is already back above 1,314 US dollars per ounce. So I would be looking to capitalize on the range that gold is moving between at the moment, with a view that we won't get really much below 1300. We may not even get below 1308 again over the course of this week. Silver is leading the move at the moment. And then moving over to platinum. Platinum also, if you look at the price structure on the weeklies here, had a shallow retracement today, took the price back to around 813. On the weekly chart, platinum is trading around $819 per ounce at the moment. And I believe we're just going to continue to build a base. Normally, platinum over January delivers a 4% return. That's exactly what it did over January. And normally over February, it's a 2 to 3% return as well. So 2 to 3% from the current prices would take the price back above 830. We're at 819 at the moment. In fact, it would take it back above 840. And we were looking on Friday to see whether we would be able to get some follow through, breakout above 835, hit 840. It retraced into the close on Friday, pull back a bit today. It's still consolidating. I'm a buyer of platinum if it gets back below 800. We actually banked 150 points on this trade today on the retracement. So we actually banked some of our long position there. And I'm interested, I don't think it would get that low this week, but if it does, I'd be interested in buying platinum on a retrace back towards $800 if it was to get there, but I suspect it will get up to around $835 over the course of this week. That's what I'm looking at in terms of the range. Oil is a trade opportunity which I would say is pretty much there right now. We've been looking for entries this week at around 53.30 up to $54 per barrel. So any retracements down towards that zone we perceive as buying opportunities. In fact, today here you'll see at the moment oil retraced. It came back towards the 54 zone. In fact, it briefly broke below that. This is the weekly, but if I take you out to the daily chart, you'll see here where it's retracing, finding support around the lower end of the channel here. We broke out just ever so slightly, clipped above the swing high today, then retraced. And I would see this as potentially, I don't see the price really getting much below $53 this week. It might be that the low is already in today, but I am targeting for the price to come back to 55 and then ultimately $57 per barrel over the course of this week. So we have a retracement back towards the lower end of the range. It's bouncing off the $54 range at the moment on lower time frames. At the moment, US oil is getting supported. So is gold. In fact, you can see gold is on the verge of breaking up above the 13.14 zone. But if we have a look at oil here, I do definitely see the potential for oil to continue to follow through over the course of this week. So I'm looking at the potential for oil to do so. So you can see getting a buy signal here around the 54 level at the moment on oil. If it can break out above the hourlies here, it should really start to pick up momentum to the upside as well. So I'm certainly looking at the potential for oil to move within the sort of range that we've been looking at of late with oil, which would be a reasonable range, which would take the price back up towards the 55 zone initially, and then we would be looking for a move back towards the 57 zone ultimately as well for oil. So that's what we're looking at right now. You can see, in fact, it's just about breaking above the US oil there, breaking above the 54.21 zone, breaking above the highs there. So on the hourly, it's already triggering us for a long. In fact, we're already long on oil today anyway, so we've got a position there. And we're looking to see whether we will get some additional follow through over the course of this week as well. So oil I would definitely have on your radar. And so basically with the commodities, we've had pullbacks from non-farm payrolls here, but we're looking for the potential. Gold already breaking back above 13.14. So we're essentially looking for this pullback and then another springboarding higher later on this week. You've got, let me just put that on another chart. So we've got gold, where we're looking at potential. This is a pullback where we could see it bounce higher over the course of this week. Also silver as well, same sort of situation. It's already almost back into 1590 after the pullback. Platinum actually is already back above $820. Oil I perceive as the potential to bounce from here from 54. Brent crude oil as well. So basically looking at Brent to find support around the 61 level this week and then rally up to potentially around 64.50, which would be about a $2.50 move from where we are at the moment, or 250 point rally from where the current price is right now. And then if we go, so that's really what we're looking at with the main commodities at the moment. I can go through that in more detail if there's any additional questions. I'll then just talk you through euro and what we're looking at on these markets as well. So euro over the course of this week, certainly with the dollar being strong as it is right now, we're probably going to back and fill. I am looking at an ultimate target for the euro this week of coming back to the 1.15 handle, which from where we are at the moment is about 75 pips or so, but it might, before it does so, come all the way back to 1.14. We're about 20 pips away from that at the moment. I'm basically looking for a range-bound trade, so 1.14 up to 1.15 to hold within 100 point or 100 pip range over the course of this week. So I'll be looking to bank profits at 1.15 and potentially enter at 1.14 if we come down to that level. So I'm looking for range-bound trade on euro this week. On US dollar Swiss franc, I am targeting this week a breakout to 1.00. We're almost there. In fact, we're about 23 pips away from that. We've got into a long earlier on in the session just this morning, which is up nicely in profit at the moment. So I'm looking to target around the 1.000 handle, which is just that very key zone overhead at the moment, which is about another 23 pips or so, and then we should hit target on that. So I'm bullish on the US dollar Swiss franc short term for today, looking for more follow through. Australian dollar US dollar, you see I'm looking for potentially a revisit back to around 0.720 handle this week, which I perceive as being a major level. If we do come to that level, I'll be looking for evidence that the price gets supported, buy back in at the lower end of that range and look for higher prices later on this week when we might see the US dollar pulled back. So I'm waiting a little bit longer to see if the Australian dollar, US dollar will pull back slightly lower. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, I'm on the weekly chart right now. Same sort of situation. I'm looking for about another 20 to 30 pips lower, ultimately 0.685 handle. If we pull back to that zone, I'm then looking for entries to then go long, taking the price up for about another 100 pips or so. So I'm looking at pullbacks as buy opportunities on the New Zealand dollar, US dollar this week. The US dollar, Japanese yen, it's had a reasonable move. It's at the 110 handle. As we see US dollar strength in the early part of this week, it might go slightly higher. If it does go higher, it'll be about 110.50 would be the ultimate target. If it stalls at 110, it might rotate lower and come back down to around the 109 handle, which would be another 100 pips from where we are right now. I would suggest maybe the US dollar needs to go a bit higher before it has some sort of correction. So at the moment, I'm a bit neutral on the US dollar, Japanese yen actually. So I'm just waiting on that one. I don't have a position on that right now. So I'm just waiting on that. And then the pound US dollar, ultimately on the weeklies, I am looking for further downside. I'm ideally looking to get a sell short in at the 1.31 handle, but we are not getting to that level right now, and it looks a bit vulnerable. If we get more strength on the dollar this week, I would then be looking for a move of about 100 pips move from the 1.31 zone down to about 1.2975, around that sort of zone. So I would see scope for about 100 pips trade for a sell short. Although it's retracing a bit today, I'm looking for lower prices on the pound US dollar over the course of this week. And then finally, the S&P 500, I am looking for potentially a rotation back to around the 2,725 to 2,750 with about 2,680 as support. So within that sort of range is what I'm looking at the moment, although it might be quite a tight range on the S&P 500 over the course of this week. So the main markets I'm focused on this week in terms of a bit of a trading plan, and then we'll touch base with you again later on this week on the Commodities Corner. So I'm not doing anything with US dollar, Japanese yen. I'm looking to buy in Australian dollar around the 0.72 handle. Actually, US dollar, Canadian dollar, I'm looking to sell on a retrace entry up to about the 1.318 handle if it gets up to there, but it's not there yet. So I'm waiting on US dollar CAD. Euro, I'm looking at a long for 1.14 zone. I'm looking to go long. Pound US dollar, I'm looking to sell short at 1.31 around that level. New Zealand dollar, US dollar, I'm looking to go long around 0.685. US dollar, Swiss franc, I'm long already, targeting 1.000, which we're not far off. US oil, I'm a buyer below 54 US dollars per barrel. Silver, I'm long already, so from lower prices, targeting above $60, $16 per ounce. Platinum, I just banked today for 150 points, so I'm out of that. Gold, I'm a buyer between 13.08 approximately up to around 13.12 to 13. Even now, probably be reasonable. I'm still targeting a break above the swing highs this week. And S&P 500, I don't have a trade on that at the moment. But if I was long, I'd target 2,725 up to around 2,750. And that's really it, guys, in terms of what we're looking at for this week. Obviously, we'll check in with you again later in the week on the Commodities Corner, but that's a bit of a trading plan with respect to what we're looking at and the major markets that we're focused on right now. So basically, we're focusing on gold, platinum, silver, UK oil, US oil, S&P 500, and then 7 of the Forex majors there is really what we're looking at in terms of a trading plan at the moment. And as I mentioned before, the narrative right now is basically all about the dollar rising off the back of very strong non-farm payrolls on Friday, but that might start to dissipate later on in the week, as basically it's just going to be returned to the normal narrative, which is that the Fed aren't going to increase interest rates. It looks very unlikely this year. So I think the US dollar will probably run out of steam this week, start to roll over, and when it does, it will probably help gold, silver, a number of currencies break out to the upside. But for today, overall pressure is to the upside with follow through on the US dollar from non-farm payrolls, but it might be that it just runs out of steam later on today, and then we get a continuation of support come into a lot of commodities later on this week. So I hope that helps, guys. I hope that gives you a bit of a trading plan in terms of what we're looking to do. If you do want to become a private member of the Gold and Silver Club and join a community of successful traders, you can do so. And with that, you will get access to our live trading room webinars throughout the week. You get real-time trade alerts. You get access to trading research and market insights. You have access to our private members academy website. You get the logins for that. You have access to support and mentoring as well. Very simply, the link is www.jointhelivetradingroom.com. That's the link to make an application to join us at the Gold and Silver Club. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you just hop on YouTube, search for the Gold and Silver Club, and you'll subscribe to our channel, because that way you'll get all of our week ahead forecasts with commodities and what we're looking at for the week ahead, our projected levels and so forth in more detail. Okay, great stuff. So thanks again to Sharice, the team at binary.com, for hosting today's session. I hope you all have a good rest of your day, and we'll catch you back here on the next one. Good trading, all the best, and bye for now, guys. Okay, take care, and yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, guys. All the best.